said I got to say something, baby, hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic. Somebody hand me a mic, cause I got to say something, so just hand me a mic. When I need to say something, better hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic.
I'm no expert, but from my understanding, Cyprus is quite a big place to move for Brits.
Yeah,
I've known like a few people that have lived or moved or spent time in Cyprus, like few people.
It sounds appealing to me, to be fair. Like, yeah,
Beautiful, isn't it?
Is it? Does it like? I imagine it doesn't get that cold, right, in Cyprus?
I would think year round you're probably all right.
Yeah.
Isn't
Cyprus...
You get acclimatized though, don't you? Because like the people who live there, they'll be like still cold in the winter. But if we went there now, it'd probably be all right, shorts and t-shirt.
Well, yeah, short and t-shirt for us, isn't it? Even in winter.
Nutter in Cyprus, or Nutters in Cyprus, tells me that in the winter he does use the heating.
Does
the
he?
aircon goes both ways, you know?
Nice.
Yeah. Interesting. Is that where Iron Napa is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You been?
Yeah.
So you didn't know you'd been to Cyprus?
No, I've been to
country.
Cyprus, mate. Yeah. No, I knew that, but I was just double checking, of course. Yeah.
Nice.
Mint holiday as well.
I bet it was. I've heard it's like brilliant. Well, if I was 20
Just
years
turned
older.
18, first lads holiday, quad bikes, cliff jumping, just raucous, mate. Yeah. Honestly,
Chaos.
like I'll show you this cliff jumping after. Johnny can maybe even pull this up now. Like it is proper shoe on for you, Johnny. But it was mental, mate. Like we literally just jumped into this. It wasn't even a cliff diving spot. We just went at this cliff. The waves were mental. Like I'll show you after. You'll be like, what were you thinking? Like there could have been rocks there. We didn't know there was rocks underneath. We just jumped, and like one of the lads went first and like nearly died. And we were like, oh, should we do it? And then four of us did it after, and we were all right. But like looking back, I would never do that now. Like you couldn't even see the bottom of the. You couldn't even see. It was just waves.
The sea.
It was just
good job you couldn't.
And it was just like waves, and it goes white after.
Yeah.
It was just like
that
these waves.
freaks us out, that.
Do you get,
These
like-
waves were crazy.
Like that, there's like a repeating dream I'll get. That's like a repeating nightmare for me. You know, like the thought of like jumping off something and hitting something. Do you not get like flashbacks from that?
No, I don't get flashbacks, but I just think, and I look at that video now, I'm like, I would never in a million years do that now. And I was just like, I was like 4 Coronas deep driving a quad bike to this cliff. We all just jumped off it. It was fucking raj, mate. But like the things you do when you're younger, eh?
Sounds fun.
Sounds fun.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, I think it takes a special type of bravery or stupidity to do the cliff thing. I've seen it before. I've seen it in Jamaica years ago.
I've seen a lot of horrific videos where people have, bashed it. Like there's just a rock stuck up or something like that, and they bash the head, and it's gone nasty.
Have you seen like the overweight people when they like slip down, like don't jump properly, and they slide down the side of the rock and boom,
game over.
Slap something. No, they just slap themselves, and I like to think they survive and be all right, but
It's like watching them because they're big.
no, it's just not.
I love watching them go down pool slides though.
Brilliant.
Always great.
Brilliant.
Worry
Same
for the
as
slide.
like the what's it called? The rope swings off trees. That's always a good one.
Taking their life in their own hands with that, aren't they? Like,
Yeah.
So many of them, isn't there? Like it's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So-
not fat shaming or anything. Do you know what I mean?
No, we're not at all.
no,
Like
but-
not. Yeah.
I mean,
everyone likes a big splasher. That's all.
I mean, for the most part, the people we're on about, they're not just fat. Like they're like life-threateningly big.
Obese, yeah.
Yeah,
true.
like really big. But
And you do find it a lot of the time. It seems to be in America, somewhere like that.
yeah, some redneck place. Yeah,
A lot of the time, but lads' holidays, just best times ever, aren't they?
yeah, they are. Yeah, near-death experiences though are probably the way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, mine definitely was, but anyway, these things happen. Do you?
Yeah,
Your first lads' holiday, Johnny?
Stag do's.
Stag do's.
Portugal was good. We didn't do anything quite like that.
Yeah.
That was all right. Yeah, it was stag do, so there was like older people there and stuff like that. Like it was a good mix, but it was all right.
Albufeira, was it?
Albufeira, yeah.
Albufeira, however you say it. Flew into Faro. Yeah, easy jet. That's the one.
Classy, yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Anyway.
just briefly while we're on that, you know the bull in Benidorm. I wasn't actually here for that, but my uncle nearly died on that bull.
Sorry, what?
So you know there's this famous bull. There's the bull that you go to in Benidorm, and you all ride the bull, and it's just I don't know where exactly it is, but it's famous for it. Anyway,
it's a real bull.
No, it's not a real bull. It's just
one of them things that spins around.
Yeah, it's one of them things that spins around. But everyone, like lots of people who go to Benidorm know exactly the place I'm on about.
Right.
Anyway, my uncle went there for his stag do. I was too young to go on it, but my dad still recalls his stories. They were all dressed up as priests, and he was the Pope, which didn't go down very well there because it's quite a strong. Is it Catholic?
It could be, yeah.
Quite a strong Catholic over there. Anyway, they didn't get let in a lot of bars, but they got let in the bull. My uncle, who at the time was morbidly obese, went on this ride, the bull, and got stuck. Fell off it, and there's all the sort of side thing to keep you safe. He fell past the side thing and got stuck between the wall and the sort of inflatable. Anyway, they couldn't get him out, and he was stuck there for 5 minutes, nearly out of breath and nearly dying. But yeah, these things happen, so just watch yourself on that bull if you're...
Do you know...
That's a good safety briefing, because a lot of our people who watch the show go to Benidorm and ride that bull, so...
And I'm morbidly obese.
You just saved some life, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you dare go on one of them mechanical bulls?
Yeah, I would.
I did it when I was in Portugal, actually, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
a proper one? Proper buckaroo one?
Oh, not in a live one, sorry.
No. But then the life-size type thing where they kick off and it knocks you off.
Yeah, I lasted a whole 20 seconds.
So what happened? You just hit the inflatable afterwards?
Yeah,
it just looks like pain.
It just throws you off, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In my head, I see it going wrong. I see for me, how I think mine would go is I'd be riding, right? And then I get to the bit where I'm going to get booked off. But instead of me just falling correctly onto the inflatables and just laughing it off, I see me going up, coming back down, the bull coming up, breaking my hip, shattering it. Me laying there just crippled pelvis.
Yeah.
Just then basically broke for life.
Well, that's sober logic though, isn't it? But nobody goes on one of them bull things sober.
No, rock hard, right?
It's like a leathery material,
it's
isn't
leathery,
It's kind of padded. It's all right.
There's a bit of padding, yeah.
Right.
How much would you have to be paid to get on a real bull?
Oh, nah.
How much would, obviously, you've got to try and last on it for maybe 10 seconds, which is a good time on a bull, by the way. How much would you have to be paid to jump on one of them? For me, I actually think I'd do it for 15 grand.
Oh,
which is quite cheap.
I was going to go way cheaper than that. I would be like, 500 quid.
No, sure.
Really? With a live bull?
Yeah.
With the threat of it could turn around and kill you?
Yeah, you get thrown off, mate. You could be discombobulated. It turns around.
That isn't your real danger. It's once it's throwing you off and it comes at you with the horns. That's the problem. It wants to kill you.
Yeah, I know, but it's there's a chance that'll happen, but there's a bigger chance that it'll just run off. You know what I mean? I'd like to think.
That's why I'm saying 15. I'd take the risk for 15. Anything less than that, I'm like, whoa.
I don't value my life that much, apparently.
Well, I'm the complete polar opposite to that, lads. For me, because maybe my fee is bigger. The way I say it is, I'm definitely coming off. That's for sure, because nobody stays on, and then there is a high probability that I don't get up and get out the way in time. If you're knocked out, you're done. Yeah. But as soon as you're off, that bull's going to turn around and it hates you, and it knows how to do it. Do the horn thing.
Yeah.
That it wants to stab you, and it's this long. It'll go right through your body. So for me to do that, we're talking I'd have to run that risk and think, okay, there's a potential that I'm not making this. So the money would have to be set your family up for life money.
Right.
No,
there would be a number, but it'd have to be okay, if this happens, then sad than that, but you don't have to worry no more.
I don't think my life insurance policy will pay out if I get done in that way.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they still do that, to be honest. That's a thing that you can just go and do, isn't it? And
it's a big thing.
It's a sport, innit?
Yeah, they're rock stars in the South, in the deep South, America. Everybody knows the top bull riders. It's big.
Mad that it's a thing, though. It's mad. Yeah.
I'd love to go to an event and watch people do that.
I'd be bad.
So, to be honest, I'd be shitting me pants in the crowd because, you see them on, if a bull decides it manages to jump a fence, which I think it's probably capable of,
or going through it.
There's horns aside, it's a fucking heavy thing.
Yeah, tons.
Crush you.
Oh yeah,
absolutely crush you.
Yeah. Same as the running bull thing. You seen that in Spain?
Yeah. How is that a thing? How is that a thing?
Yeah, they just close a town down, don't they? Let a bull loose.
I'm sure in one of the places, the deal is to make it run through the streets to jump off a pier at the end and drown. I'm sure that's the game.
What, the bull does that at the end? They just...
They're they're making it run through the track, sort of thing. like through the streets and doing that whole, oh, you're not going to get me, then jumping up. Like, and I think the end result is like to make it like
the bull just
fall off into the sea.
Goes into the sea and just
sick, mate.
Shark meat. Whoa.
It's sick.
You'd be cool if you were that last person like diving off and the bull's just behind you and it's mid-air trying to get you and you just beautiful swan dive.
I think as an animal lover, like when we've all seen the clips on the internet of like the running bull thing, I think it's called, running bull. I kind of like it when the bull gets the people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think you cunt. Yeah. Same as like the bull fighting. You know, you get some like cocky ass matador giving it,
yeah.
And I just stood there and like some boy. I love it when he gets stabbed right through his stomach. You know what I mean? And then like, oh, there's you dying slowly now. You know what I mean? Oh, nightmare.
Got what you fucking deserved,
Yeah.
It's not nice when they start spewing it and like let it just get angry as fuck, is it?
No, it's horrible.
Weirdos. But then look, we're sitting here now saying, oh, them sick bastards doing that to that thing. Then they might look at us and think, yeah, but you do the fox and hounds thing.
I don't support that either.
Me neither,
No,
but it's tradition.
It happened. Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
I hate that shit.
I do hate that shit.
Yeah.
Sick, right? Do you love us?
Yeah, there's a little part of us that are very deep down, which is like there's a little bit of guilt, but I do fucking love seeing me some penguins. Like, you know what I mean?
Little waddles.
Yeah, exactly. It's just,
I can remember when my romance of the zoo changed. So like everybody, I remember back being a kid going to SeaWorld, like, oh my god, oh my god, fucking brilliant.
That's where I draw the line though. SeaWorld's where I draw the line. The whale things.
See, I give less of a fuck about the fish than I do about the cuddly brown things.
Right.
So like I remember where I was. I must have been about 19 and I went to the Barrow-in-Furness Zoo in the Lakes. The Great Lakes Zoo, I think it's called. Right. There's a zoo in the Lake District, right? Barrow-in-Furness it's called. Oh, it's next to it. Anyway, like you, loved animals, loved zoos. You know, I went through a phase where I went to them all. I went to like Chester Zoo, I went to Edinburgh Zoo. I've seen them all. And I went to Barrow-in-Furness Zoo and I've seen him.
That looks like a zoo.
Yeah, it's a zoo that there. You can go and talk to the giraffes and that. Anyway, it was a pissing down rainy day, right? Bad day for the zoo, right? It was summer, but it was pissing down with rain.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Didn't want to be there. Like, hardly anybody was there, but they were still letting people in. And there was this one bit where we went to see, there were a type of bear, but a small bear. So it looks like a bear, but it's small, right? And we were stood, like hoods on, like it wasn't soaking wet, it was drizzling, stood with hoods on. I remember looking down at this bear, right? And there was like, it was in it, you were looking down, and it was in its enclosure, and there was like, say like a 20-meter piece of land. But what had happened is, you know when grass gets walked on like a million times, it turns to like a mud track?
Yeah.
Right. And there was this bear, right? It's one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen. It was like him there. And it was just like this. Just like this. You see this track it's starting to form here?
Yeah.
And it was just walking, mate. And I stood there for about 5 minutes and it was just walking dead slowly up one way. And then it got to a wall, turned round, walked back the other way. And it did that for the entire... And obviously when I first looked, oh, a bear, I love bears. Yeah. And over that 5 minutes, my brain like calculated what I'm seeing. And I was like, oh my God.
That's its life. That's its entire world.
And I look... I don't speak bear, but like I'm pretty sure if that bear could speak, he'd be like, I'm depressed. So like he'd be devastated, mate. And it was like I remember thinking like, oh my god, I'm never going to a zoo again.
Yeah, just very sad.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I fell in, he'd probably rip me to bits, and I'd feel less sorry for him then. But yeah.
So maybe the thing is, I don't like a Shih Tzu. I like a zoo where they, put a bit of effort in.
Where all the animals are like,
I choose to believe that that's the case.
Yeah. No, man.
You don't know.
I mean, look how depressed that zebra looks.
I like the idea that there's somewhere they're actually, they live.
See what I'm saying?
God, that's a sad fucking zebra, isn't it?
Like, I feel like saying, like, covering its face isn't enough. Yeah. I'm not sure about zoos, like. I get it. I get the narrative, like, oh my God, they can't be put back into captivity. They were found as a baby. Like, yeah. I get that.
You didn't have to find them as a baby, though. You could have just...
Yeah. I don't know. Listen, zoos, course,
Yeah.
At least they're not dead. That's the other way to look at it. Could be dead. They're not dead.
They get free healthcare. That's decent.
They get free healthcare. They get free grub, yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose.
If the government could tax them, they would, like.
Yeah. See, I used to feel the other way because when I used to watch David Attenborough and stuff, I used to think, well, I've seen the how horrific, like, wild is.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it's grim out there.
Yeah. So when you see a zebra in a zoo, you're like, mate, you've won the lottery.
You're not going to say if you...
Because, like, you're going to live your entire life. So that is the other argument to it. But then, like, when you see, like, Mr. Bear walking up and down that track, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But,
is that better than living?
It would be all right if he just had a bit more space, though, right? Like,
well, it'd be a longer track for him to walk up and down, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. Give him some bear toys, a little pot of honey to drink through, it'd be all right.
Little friend piglet.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
give him a pig. No. How did that ever work?
No. Oh, God. Oh.
That would be a harrowing children's book, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Are we rolling, South Park?
We are rolling, Daniel.
We are rolling. We are back. It's people like us. Hi.
Hello.
So... yeah, has anybody got any things that have been going on? I've seen some things, man.
You've seen some things?
Seen some things, man.
What have you
where
seen?
to begin? I'll tell you, actually, before I get on to tell you the things I've seen, do you know we've been talking, remember a few episodes ago, we talked about, like, eating dog and stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Not that it's a good thing, but I've, like, been getting some reels of, disturbingly, about eating human meat. Yeah.
That's a fucked up algorithm.
Yeah. So now I've got like disabled people, a lot of Asians, and stuff about eating human meat.
What, like preparing it, cooking it? Like,
yeah, well, I
serving
suppose
tips?
It was light-hearted. It wasn't people actually eating meat. But some of them are like people joking about it, like comedy things. It must know I like comedy. But some of them are like, I actually don't know whether it's human meat, but like my brain tells me that's what I'm seeing. It's like these African tribes. And they're like, just like there's this is like, like a carcass. It doesn't look like a human, but I get a feeling that's what. And when I'm saying like African tribes, I mean like African tribes. You know, like they're wearing cloths.
Yeah, like the missus has her tits out and it's got the tiki necklaces on and shit.
Yeah, and just by the way they're eating, they're like crouched down, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like these are wild people. And I don't know, like my brain's telling me like that's what that is.
That's his uncle.
Yeah. And it made me think, like at what point would you do that, or would you, or wouldn't you do that?
Oh God. Well, we were talking about that. We were talking about that film where there was a plane crash out in the fucking mountains somewhere, and people were like freezing to death and stuff like that, and they started eating people.
Yeah,
didn't
it's
they?
called the Society of the Snow, and it was Argentinians. It was an Argentinian rugby team.
I've seen this.
So like you think like you're in those conditions. There's no.
They're in the
There's no
Andes.
other food anywhere. There's no other source of food. You just got to survive as long as you can. And there's some dead people in a plane already. Like people who didn't survive the crash. Like you're thinking like, oh.
Would you eat them?
Well, this was the debate that they had. Like it was in the Andes, right? And the Andes is the biggest mountain range in the whole of the world. So if you like, and this was the middle of winter. So if you like plane crash there, you're stuck for a long time. Now, these people, lots of them, they obviously got all the rations together, everything in the plane, put it all together, tried to keep warm best they could, tried to make a shelter out of planes, avalanches happen, all sorts kicks off. And many of them went to the sort of back and forth of, is this acceptable to eat people? Some of them didn't. Some of them eventually had to, but lots of them, were eating people who had passed from the plane, and they were friends. They were fellow rugby team players, but they obviously kept a lot of them alive. And if they hadn't eaten the other people, they all would have died. So they lasted I think nearly 3.5 months or something, maybe a bit longer, out there in the Andes in the snow, freezing fucking cold. Like, it gets real. The second that plane crashes, like that night, their whole world's just flipped. You know what I mean? So it was mental, and a lot of them did eat their fellow friends and fellow rugby team players just to survive. So I think in that scenario...
It's way worse if you know the person. Like,
oh, way worse.
Way worse.
Yeah, way worse.
And like, some of them were dying and said, listen, I consent to you eating me.
Really?
Yeah, just so that, like, I literally watched it about 2 weeks ago.
You can have my hands.
Yeah.
You can have my legs.
No, just consented. They were like, boys, I consent to you eating me. Like, in their note, lots of them wrote a note before they died and said, boys...
Well, we talked last week about being an organ donor. It's the same thing, isn't it? Really, just
you consent in your body for scran. But like, when they got rescued, there was all these like rib cages that were just absolutely gone. Like, everybody just cut off little bits of meat and just eating it raw. Couldn't cook it, couldn't get a fire going. There's no wood. You know what I mean? They can't start burning the plane, so they're just eating raw meat just for protein and calories to keep themselves alive. It was mental.
It would play on your mind, like, even after the event. Like, you imagine you get rescued in that situation, like the helicopter lands and the guy's like, mate, this plane crashed like 6 months ago. How are you still alive?
Yeah, there's 20 of you now, there's 3.
Man, we've been eating good, man. Just go and have a look in there, mate.
Yeah.
And then you get home, and then you're like, you go out, you pig out when you go and get a Five Guys or something like that, because we all like a Five Guys. And then you're sitting there, you got your burger, and you're like, not the same as Derek. Not the same.
Do you think you would? Do you think you get a taste for it?
No, I don't think.
I don't think you would. But
literally
also,
stood in the queue at the post office thinking,
it would it would be like if I had a mustache. Like, it would just be in my mind all the time. Like, I've eaten somebody. I ate somebody.
Yeah.
Like, we're sitting on the podcast, you'd be talking about what it tastes like to be dog, and I'd be like, well, let me fucking one up you, mate. Derek.
I ate me pal, yeah. Yeah, do you know, like, I guess you'd never know, would you, till you're in that situation?
No.
You'd never know. But, like, I guess you would. And
if
but
push
actually,
came to shove, you don't know what you would do, I guess. But
like, I think, to my understanding, that is illegal.
Even in that situation,
I
like,
think
you
so.
broke the law. Like,
I think so.
You think you're going to rescue you from there, and just be like, you know what? I'm glad that they saved your life, but you've been eating good, mate, and get in the cell. Like,
do you know what being like? I think it is illegal, even in that circumstance. I think you're not allowed to eat people. I think I know that right.
No, it is illegal. But what had happened with this particular case was, because it was so bad, the weather throughout the Andes, they actually called off the search for them after about 2.5 weeks. So they thought, we're never going to find them over this. Like, it's so hard to see anything throughout the plane in that sort of weather condition. So they called, and they had access to a radio. They managed to get a radio going, and like, they all heard, oh fuck, like, they're calling off the search. We're never going to be found. So that's when it was like, right, we're going to have to start thinking long term. And that was when I think anyone, I especially myself, I'm going to out myself. I would turn to that to survive. Yeah.
And like, to hell with the cons. Do you know what? I think in that scenario, even if it was illegal, right, and they rescued you, right, and like, it's been 3 months, whatever, like look, we've rescued you, like, we know, and you've said, like, it's all cool, like, you've said, like, you ate people. I bet your sentence isn't bad. Like, even if they have to, like, prosecute you, like, they might just, like, say, listen, like, yeah.
I feel you'd just slip through the court system when you're in that situation.
Listen, you're going to get a record for it, but like, okay, like,
I think they got off scot-free, you know.
Really?
Yeah, because like, in that scenario, the government had called off the search, and then they had no way to live. And it's not like they went out and killed. Nobody killed each other. These people had already died.
Well, so they said.
Well, in the film, yeah. So they said.
Imagine, they all fucking died.
It was like based off.
You realise,
real events.
actually, I don't like Southpaw as much as I thought I did. So
yeah,
you're not carrying much meat on him, though. So
no, he's not now. He's not. No, he's svelte. No, you know what I mean.
Be very tough.
Do you know what would be a nightmare in that situation? To like, picture the scene, right? This has happened, right? Planes down, proper freezing.
Yeah.
Right. This time's passed, and there's been this like time of like, everyone's looking at each other, like, it's, oh, look, everybody's there has probably like heard about this before. Like, you get to a point where you eat people, right? So like, everyone's been sat there racking their brains for probably weeks, thinking like shit's going to go down. And imagine the first one that goes, right? And you've sort of said to each other, listen, we know what the score is here. We know what needs to happen, right? Gutted, as you say, Derek, right? You finally give up, you're starving, you've shared up Derek, you've all had a nibble, right? You're sitting there, you've just finished, I don't know, do you have plates? Do you wash plates out there? I don't know. Like,
once you're eating a person,
plates, probably no plates. So you're sitting there like that, fucking hell, feel full now. Yeah. And all of a sudden you hear, it's the rescuers, right? And you're just like,
you've just had your first nibble.
Literally, like, I had to wait 6 hours. Imagine how sick you'd be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be gutted then, wouldn't you? But
I thought you were going to go the other way and say, like, imagine, like, we're just eating Derek and then someone opens a random cupboard and they just find, like, just a massive wall of hamburgers and we're just like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, but there's a load of bourbons here. Bourbon biscuits. Whatever.
Like, yeah, but we've got a guy on, so...
Yeah. Well, let's you know...
What an interesting conversation to start us off on.
Yeah, there we go,
Would
guys.
you eat a blow?
Yeah.
Definitely in the life-threatening situation. There's no version of this where I'm just going to, meet up with my German friends, because it would be the Germans. It's like, we're going to cook up the guy, and I don't know why he was Italian. Just came out that way. And with the pasta, with the pasta and the garlic bread.
But he's so German, you know.
Derek, you a bastard. Yeah. Fuck Derek.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no version of that.
No.
The Society of the Snow. Give it a watch. Great film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Human meat. Mad, huh? So I've seen. You've probably seen this before. Like, Sainsbury's is my local supermarket, and it's. I've always thought this. Like, we've all seen the shoplifter situation. Right?
Sure.
What normally happens is it's somebody that, like, I never see them shoplifting. I'll just see, like, a kerfuffle where, like, the security guard will come running out, or somebody in, like, one of the purple blazers, which is
going about your business, but you're also kind of like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah, there's a kerfuffle, and before you know it, it's not proper restraint sort of thing. There's never, like, proper action, because I don't think they're allowed to. But, like, then sometimes you'll see somebody, like, walking back in. He's a bit of a... Normally it's a boy. Sometimes it's a girl. Yeah. But they always fit the same image. They're normally like small. They normally look a bit unwashed. Like they normally look a bit cross. Yeah. And there's normally somebody
they're not dressed for work.
Yeah. Somebody walking behind them with 2-litre bottles of vodka. Normally Smirnoff. Right? That's normally what happens. And like I thought to myself, like the last one I seen, I thought, like they do, without pigeonholing people, like for the most part, when I see these shoplifters, like they all look the same sort of thing. They have a look about them. It's as if you could line them up in the shop and you could go, that's a shoplifter, even before they've shoplifted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
just totally discriminate, full-blown discriminate them because of how they look. Yeah.
Sorry, but I'm just saying, to keep it like PC, like to me, just my eye, I can see a similarity in the people that I'm seeing getting caught shoplifting physically, in how they dress, how they look, how their demeanour is, and they look similar. And I thought, like, well, why don't they, like, do a disguise? Do you know what I mean? Like, what a move. Like, why don't they just come in disguised as something else? Instead of wearing, like, James's outfit, like what James wears, why can't they just put something else on?
Because, they can't afford to get, like...
Well, yeah, I get that, but, like...
They went in dressed wearing a 3-piece that they bought from somewhere.
Listen, okay.
Or they shoplifted.
What like a Class A move would be to take some clothes from the clothes section in your beloved Sainsbury's, go off to the fitting room, steal them first, and then pass through. That would be a Class A move.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Money's a thing, right? So like in my romanticised version, I thought, okay, why don't you get a priest outfit? Okay? No one's suspecting a priest, right? You could probably go on Amazon and get a priest outfit. Not the white robes, because then you can think, why the fuck is he in his robes? You know the little collar they wear? You whack one of them collars on over a shirt and a blazer, mate, you got the golden ticket. You ain't robbing now. Do you know what I mean? Get a shower.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I mean, the religious implicate, like, if, you are that way, you're going to hell, mate. Like,
okay.
you go to hell.
Here's another way then, without bringing religion into it. Right, okay. Charity shops, okay? Yeah. Everybody's got a couple of quid. Like, he got the bus down to do the robbery. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So instead of getting the bus down, you go in St. Teresa's Hospice or British Art Foundation, there's a load of them, you know, other charity shops are available, and buy an old person outfit. Okay, so
Sure. Yeah, that would
get a granddad
checks
coat,
out. That would get you.
get a cap, get yourself a little stoop on. Do you know what I mean? Put some. You know what I mean? They could. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Just mooch him. No one would suspect you. Get one of them trolleys, like an old biddy trolley. Imagine you just come like in. You're just literally off the radar. Do you know what I mean?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd make a better shoplifter. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe so.
Maybe, but I mean, if I seen you in like old person's gear and then like I serve you at the till, I'd be like, holy fuck, I thought that was an old man. It's just that geezer off the People Like Us podcast.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
What are these people stealing, by the way?
Normally vodka.
Well, Misha works in Lidl. She sees, she works in a supermarket, not Lidl, another one. Most of the time it's steaks.
Steaks?
Yeah.
Huh.
And it's crazy the amount that there actually is, like, shoplifting, like, it's real fucking problem shoplifting. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like, I didn't think it was that frequent, but she's like, yeah, it's rife. Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them go for the steaks.
Right.
Isn't that mad?
I've seen that, and I've seen it go so far to the extent where there are now like tags on the steak items.
No.
And then the vodka section now in Morrison's is now locked off. You have to get somebody to come over and like open the vodka section for you.
Seriously?
Yeah,
You
seriously.
can't just pick a bottle off a shelf?
Nah, I mean,
my Tesco's has like they have like chainmail on them now, like a fucking like a weird mesh wire thing surrounding all the bottles with like the
Right.
security tags on and that, which must be, I don't know, a nightmare for them to get off or something like that. I
well,
don't
it's
know.
like such a small issue, isn't it, within our society that the police aren't out there to try and get shoplifters these days. So they're having to take their own precautions, supermarkets, to make sure these things don't happen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what, like, as well, in those situations, I'm okay. Look, end of the day, you're not supposed to pinch stuff, right? You're not allowed to steal stuff. And I get it. If the security guard in his black with his earpiece, right, if he's going after him, fair dues, right?
Yeah.
What sort of does wind me up a little bit is when I see, like, the purple coats getting involved, you know, like the Sainsbury's staff.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like saying, like, look, I'm definitely not saying shoplifting's all right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be pinching. But, like, if this person has, like, felt the need to, like, shoplift, he obviously didn't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? If he had the cash, he'd probably buy it. Like, I just feel like, let him have it. Just, like, pretend to run after him. You know, like, oh, he's really fast. Just let him go.
I tell him you should never, like, just let them crack on. Because, like, you know, you're not paid enough to put yourself at risk. Like, imagine if I had a knife or some shit like that. Like,
okay,
over a fucking steak.
report it.
No.
Ring the bobbies, whatever.
Yeah.
Ring him. Just, like, don't go all running out in the car park. I mean, just leave him. Do you know, like...
Yeah.
Because what if he did turn... Like, there's the other thing. First things first, he's obviously in a bit of a dire situation to pinch his vodka or his steak.
Yeah.
Like, and two... What happens if you do catch him, and what happens if he's got something?
Yeah.
What happens if he comes round and slices you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then you're
it's
fucked, aren't you?
totally not worth it.
No,
like, if you're security, you're there to do that job, let them do the job.
Yeah.
If you're regular staff, not worth it. No way.
Yeah. There's a
yeah.
particular guy at my Sainsbury's. He's like a bit of a hero. I think he's the gaffer. Like, I know he's like, he seems to be the one that everybody asks. So whenever, you know, if anything's going wrong, or he seems to be the one
the
always
go-to guy.
answering it. He's a bit of a boy, he goes to the gym and that. But like, I've seen him loads of times, like literally like sprinting out of the shop. He's a bit of like a Sainsbury's hero. Do you know what I mean? He might as well have a cape on. You know?
Sainsbury's Batman.
And I always
Get
think,
it.
oh, like, man, just nah, man. Security guard, yeah, that's what he's there for.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, my thing is like, you know, a bottle of vodka or something like that. I'm like, oh, like, fair enough, get them. If it's like a week's shop, like if it looks like a family shop, like that's the real desperation to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's when it's sad if you get caught like trying to run out with a trolley full of stuff for your family. Like, oh man, give them people a break.
I actually think shoplifting from supermarkets, I think it should be, obviously there's cameras, right? So you've got their identity. I think you shouldn't run after them. I think not even the security guard should. I think it should just be left to go, to pinch it. Like, okay, everything has a tag on. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Every single item has a tag on. So if you leave, it goes beep, 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 beep. Bang, your picture's taken, everything. But then it goes, then the coppers are rang, and it's up to the coppers to get him. You've got his identity. You probably know him because you've probably seen him before. Like, I don't know. Like, really? Should we be chasing after shoplifters? Really? Like when you've got a steak?
Yeah,
you know?
not if you're not security. Leave them to it.
I don't think the police do fuck all anyway. I'm sure when they've got in touch with them about it, it's just kind of like, oh, fuck, like,
That's your
we can go after the
first
guy who stole
warning.
a bottle of vodka, or can go after the fucking rapist. Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
in a way, like I always, I actually root for them. The shoplifter, like I want him. Same as like if you watch, you watch police car chase type TV shows.
Yeah.
Surely we're all rooting for the guy running, right? Tell me you're rooting for that guy.
Depends on the show.
So it's like police camera action.
Police interceptors. Yeah, I'm always rooting for the guy trying to get away.
Yeah. And it's some chav in his Vauxhall Corsa.
Yeah.
Taking chase. It's brilliant. And he gets out and he starts sprinting. He's like, fucking
I saw one of them the other day.
A real one?
No, like a police interceptors one.
Right.
And these lads were getting away in their Vauxhall Corsa.
Yeah.
And they held a smoke like grenade out the window.
Wow.
And just held it out the window. And then it was dark at night.
That's just like a flare.
It might have been a flare, like something that just emitted a lot of smoke, but they held it out the window. And this police car, which was chasing right up his arse, had to stop because couldn't see where it was going. You know what I mean? I thought, what a fantastic move.
Smart, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're going to do it, get a smoke bomb, get away, be all right. Obviously, once a helicopter gets involved, you're buggered, but...
Yeah. It takes some massive cojones to do that, doesn't it?
If the helicopter's after you, when they get you, you're going away for a fucking while. Like,
Yeah.
That's not going to be good for you when they get you.
If the helicopter's on you, you're not getting away.
No,
You're
You're not, because they've got heat. They've got like heat sensing,
Impossible.
infrared stuff now, don't they? So if you're like hid very well,
Yeah.
you're not getting away. Have you ever had to hide? Because I haven't hid from the police, but I've hid from. I was a little shit, but when I was younger. And I was always quite tactical with, God, it's even bad saying it, but conkers. We've thrown conkers at windows when I was younger.
All little boys do that.
And like snowballs, that sort of thing. Anyway, there was one time where this guy was like following us around, the group of us. I think it was like 5 of us, and he ended up getting out of his car on the same street of us all pegging it. And like he turned away for 1 second, and I rallied in this little driveway, hid behind the car, and just heard footsteps sprint past, and I just felt like just an absolute. I felt like I'd conquered the biggest heist of all. I just got away from this guy who was a big guy as well. If he'd have found me, I'm fucked.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Throwing conkers at his nice car. Anyway, all of a sudden, and it was better because he was getting so angry, and we just kept pelting his car. Anyway.
He just
so proud of his car.
I'd be fucking livid.
And all the boys are like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "See you later, boys." And I just come in this driveway and just hid underneath his car. This footsteps sprints past, big thud, thud, thud. I was like, done you, mate. You know what I mean? I just turned around and walked casually. I was like, got away with it.
Yeah. I've seen some chases like that, some legendary chases. I won't name drop him because I actually still see this guy now. Funnily enough, he works in Sainsbury's. Funnily enough. And when we were younger, he's like 1% off normal. Do you know what I mean? Where he's a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? He's a little bit different.
Like he's a normal bloke, but every now and again he'll do something fucking off it.
He's a little bit
that kind of guy.
He's a little bit different. Talks to himself and stuff, but lovely, lovely man.
That's not 1%.
Really nice. Always talks to me. Hello, all right, and he'll just be funny. He'll just come up and say, "I'm going on holiday." You don't know him. You're not there to have that conversation. Our relationship's not there. And he'll tell you about his brother and stuff. And he's a nice guy. He's obviously sound because he's employed. And he hasn't got carers or nothing. Do you know what I mean? When we were younger, he seems to have never aged because I knew this guy when I was 11, and I still know him now. And that just goes to show don't drink, don't smoke, because this guy is and walk to work every day. This guy looks exactly the same, and we're now 28 years later. Anyway. Obviously, because he was a sandwich short of a picnic a little bit, he was good for a chase. Do you know what I mean? And he had legendary chases. He never gave up. Obviously, a big thing to do would be to go and throw stuff at his windows. That was but a lot of people didn't dare do it because you knew when you did this, whoever the slowest person was or whoever he chose, he doesn't give up. He runs, and the only way is if you can get away to such a point where he didn't know where you went. Do you know what I mean? That's your only thing. If he's got you in lock, he's like a heat-seeking missile. He'll never stop. And this one day, thank God it wasn't me. I was lucky. I was always pretty quick. Do you know what I mean? So I knew it was never going to be me. I didn't, and I fancied my odds. I didn't think he would catch me, right? I ran a lot, right? But anyway, I remember this one time we did it. Everybody scattered. he never chased. It wasn't me who went after. I went one with and then like clockwork, out he comes, bump, and he wasn't the fastest, but he was a plodder. You know, boof, 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 boof.
He lacked in speed, he made up in stamina.
And on this particular one, again, I won't name drop, he did lock on to somebody who was, like, not the fastest. Do you know what I mean? Like, and, like, it was interesting. Now, like, obviously, we all knew which way he went. Like, so, like, we then, like, chased the chase, if you know what I mean. Like, so we chased the chase. So I remember going like down the street, Eggleston View, and I still see it now. And like this guy was, he didn't want to know which Andy it was. It's Andy, our guy. He was like running, and like it got to a point where we were all laughing. But like it was like, so there's Andy, the guy that was doing the chasing, and a group of us all laughing, and like. We eventually got, and you could see right in the distance that he was like running out of puff, and he was like crying because he knew what was coming. Like, long story short, we stopped, all pissed ourselves, and apparently this chase had gone all the way to the town. He lived around the town, so it went from Branksome to the town. We're talking like 3 miles, something, 2 mile, and I keep nearly saying his name, but I don't want to. But he had coursed him the entire way till he got to his granddad's house, banged on the door. And the guy never did nout to him. He just wanted to tell him off. Do you know what I mean? That's all it was.
That's what I was wondering. Is he going to beat the fuck out of him?
But that's what we used to think, that he'd kill you. Because obviously he was a bit, do you know what I mean? Yeah. We thought like he's just going to take you to his dungeon or something. Like, but yeah,
that's even more crazy, really, that you'd go to that effort and then just you don't do that again, Sonny.
That's what it was. Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah,
it's a principle there, though. That's laid the foundations. You're not going to do that again.
I mean, we did.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
I think most kids have, like... My cousin had this... there was always, like, houses you'd snowball. And there was this one guy who we knew who was like that. And it was almost like he had his running shoes at the front door ready for that scenario where it'd fucking go. And he'd whack them on and it was go time. And he would just chase the slowest person. Never caught anyone, but yeah. There's always that one... slightly wired differently person who you think, oh, let's fucking fuck with them when you're a kid, but it's not good when you get caught.
I seen a beautiful one once. We'd taken a liking to kicking this guy's fence. That was the thing.
You drew a couple of wrong ends.
It was his back garden. So at the back garden, at the very bottom of his garden, he had like back in the days like. You know, like tin, not that like bumpy tin corrugated roof type stuff. Like that.
Okay.
Bumpy, he had like a bumpy tin back fence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We kicked it, right? Lot of us, bang, bang, bang. Sometimes the deal was you kicked it long enough, he came round the corner to give you the chase, right? Okay. Good, fun. So bang, bang, bang. I wasn't kicking it. I was stood away, waiting, like I was watching from, because he was known as quite a nasty guy, this guy. Like he was going to hurt you, this guy. Old, but couldn't catch it. But so I'm like watching the corner, waiting for him to come round. I'm looking at them kicking the fence. I'm looking around the corner, waiting for him to come round the corner, looking at the fence. And all of a sudden, this particular time, he didn't come round. He just flung. He must have snuck into his garden and got like a bucket of water or something and just flung it over. Now, I don't know what was in it. It could be piss or anything. But he just flung it over the fence and about 3 people just got drenched in this stuff. So, yeah. Look, I'm sure it was just water, but in my head, what if it was piss? You know? Funny.
A bucket full of piss.
Literally, like you've been saving it for weeks. You know what I mean? Just cold piss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're assholes,
the good old days.
Yeah. So I'll tell you something else as well. By the way, holidays and that. You know, it's obviously February now. Holiday season's coming.
Yeah. What
so,
you got?
Well, it's a you can't go is basically unless you go with a lady, and it's Thailand. Right, so I just found literally. I know a few people that have recently been to Thailand, stuff like this, and it's always never, somewhere I've never been before. Mm-hmm. And like you do, you Google prices. I think Ben had told us before about it and said it's really cheap,
massively cheap.
It is really cheap, and so are the flights. So like, here's an idea right now: if you want to buy a plane ticket for you and Mish, from Manchester Airport to go to Florida. In August, you'll probably spend about 2,800 quid just on the flights.
Probably. That time, 100%.
Yeah, in August. That's how best it is. If you fly to Thailand, you could get a flight. If you weren't specific on the date, you could get a flight for about 300 quid each.
Nice.
That's the difference, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same, like it's longer, right? So there's your first thing. I looked on booking.com. Now, granted, there are some fancy hotels. Of course there are. Like, if you look in Phuket, stuff like this, there are fancy hotels. And some of them are like 1,500, 2,000. But 4-star hotels that look perfectly all right to me. They still look very nice. They've got the fancy pools, the infinity pools. The room looks like a 5-star. It just says 4-star. Like £400 for the week. £400 for the week.
£400.
And you're sitting there thinking, hang on a minute. Like, for the price of one plane ticket to America, you could have two of yous having a holiday for a week in a very nice hotel in kind of a tropical paradise. The problem is you have to go with a lady, don't you? Because there's a stigma with it. I was going around, right? Like, I got excited about it, and I was telling people, like, yeah, I want to go to Thailand, mate. Like, I think at one point I told my mum, like, I'm going to go to Thailand.
You're going to go and bang a Thai bride or something like that.
Yeah, and then,
you go with a single man.
Yeah, after a couple of days, like,
get you.
The innocence of me, honestly, didn't actually think of that. I was just genuinely thinking, well, what isn't there to like? It's 30 degrees all year round. It's cheap. The food's gorgeous. The people are friendly. It's genius.
Yeah.
Mum, I'm going to Thailand. And then, like, it dawned on me what I'm saying, and it's like, yeah, that's not what people are hearing, though.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't. Like, if you're a male or a group of males, and you have a lady in your life, you can't go to Thailand. Yeah. Like, it's just off the cards, mate. You're just not allowed.
They hear, Mum, I'm going to Thailand.
Exactly. It almost has to be said like that. Like, if you can't look at a lady that you want respect from and tell them, looking in their eye, I'm going to Thailand, you can't. You look away. Do you know what I mean? I could look at my mum and say, I'm going to Disneyland. Mm-hmm. And I could look her right in the eye. But I couldn't say, I'm going to Bangkok. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it because there's just that stigma with it.
Yeah, I get it.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of spoiled the dream. No, well, I can't go. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it. You can't go.
What, you're not going to go?
No, I'm not going to go there because everybody will think why I'm going.
Yeah, but if you take her with you, it's all right, isn't it? But
well, I'm not going to take my mum to Thailand. I don't think my mum would like it.
What about your lady friend?
Well, I don't want to take a lady friend.
Because you were going for that reason.
Yeah. Joking aside.
Yeah, but in your case, you are going for the wrong reasons.
No, I wouldn't. No, but listen, joking aside.
Temptation would get you down.
Joking aside, though, right? Joking aside, it does have that stigma, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, what
unfortunately, yeah.
Like, let me ask you, if you went home to Sheffield and said, okay, you said to Sheffield first, okay, we're going to Thailand, she'd be buzzing, let's go to Thailand, great. If you said, I'm going to Thailand with my mates, what's she going to think?
Oh, she won't be happy, yeah. There's not a way in this world that she would want me doing that.
Nah.
No.
Could be spoiled, innit? Sadly.
I guess so. But I mean, like, to be fair, if I booked any holiday, like, if I told me, sure, I wanted to go for the solo trip, that's not an option for me anymore. Like,
no.
No, that
you're deep, though. You're knee deep now.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I think that actually, on the Thailand thing, I think that even sounds worse. Like, if you're going to Thailand with your mates, for example, it's still an element of like, oh, just lads just being stupid lads type of thing.
Yeah.
But if you say I'm going to Thailand on my own, you're like, oh, you're a creep. Like,
and that won't even stay with you. Like it's not just amongst your group of friends. Like when you're on the plane as like a single man on his own, like even if people aren't thinking it, I'd be feeling self-conscious about it. I'd be like, people are I've noticed. People are thinking
people
I'm a seedy
looking
bastard.
at me like
exactly. Like you just feel ashamed, wouldn't you? Imagine in the airport, like checking in.
You'd have a full story, wouldn't you, Dan? Oh, we couldn't get the same seat. The missus back there. Dan'd have a full story, wouldn't he?
Oh God, yeah. So
I'd have to invent something like.
Of course you would.
Yeah, but there's the dream.
It's a shame it has that stigma, but you can understand why. You go over there and you've seen the videos, haven't you, where they just go down the street and there's just lady boys left, right, and centre trying to pull you in.
Yeah. It's just off the record.
Well, Ben was saying like he went for massages. He went out there with Tabby, and like went for massages, nothing else, just a massage, and he got one every day.
And you just can't see past it though. Can you? Like, you just can't see past it. Like, what's you're telling me? Like, you've got massages every day in Thailand, and you're telling me it was just a massage. Like,
it was a very good holiday, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, that was my short dream of Thailand. As you know, as you've said, yes.
You've done the solo trip stuff before, haven't you?
Solo. I once did go to Cuba on my own.
Yeah.
Once. Yeah, I did that once. Wasn't that good, to be honest.
No.
You find out you do need to be with somebody. Like, it's better.
I've always wondered. Yeah.
I like the idea, like anybody, watching content on YouTube of like people who do stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it seems like a good idea, but there's a factor, like an element missing. Like, you have to be one of them people that's good at just going up to strangers and talking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'd be great at it. You'd be great, 'cause you are that type of person. You've no problem meeting new people, talking to people. I never did like that, so I found myself a lot of the time like avoiding people.
Yeah.
So it's quite a lonely trip. Good, interesting, it's an experience, but
And I
Yeah,
guess
I
some
think I'd
people
feel
who you
weird
see
about it.
online, like making videos, they're out there with the purpose. They're making money off these videos. Like they're going out there for work. So they've got that added benefit of, I'm going travel, but it's a travel vlog. So they get away with it. You know what I mean? But no,
Yeah,
traveling
I think if
alone.
you go with a purpose, it's all right. But I think the bit of like sitting on a restaurant on your own and stuff like that, like even doing that here, I would struggle with.
Oh, I love
so what
doing
I found
that.
is, I didn't go in restaurants. I found I was just basically, like food on the side of the street, like stands, stuff
Oh,
like
right,
that.
okay.
It was like carry food or restaurant food,
Street
hotel
food stuff
food,
and that, yeah.
hotel. So you'd end up, after a couple of days of thinking you're brave, walking around like, I'll get that from there, I'll get that from there. You're walking around with your food on your own, which feels weird. And then by the end of it, you're like, I didn't like that experience. So you just end up being in a hotel, just getting room service. So you haven't done anything. You've just gone to a hotel complex on the other side of the world and think you're traveling. You're just going from hotel to hotel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Thailand's one thing. Listen, I can still, like you say, unless you take a lady friend, you can't go. But I'll tell you one that's even worse. Like for me, and I only say this because I know somebody that's from there, the Philippines. Like, that's even worse. Like, at least Thailand, there's a blag in there where you're like, it is a very touristy place. There's a blag in there. If you're going all the way to the Philippines, like, oh mate, like, no offense to anyone who's been to the Philippines, but like you want to watch out for somebody that tells you they got like a male that's going to the Philippines. Like, yeah, you probably need to look into them.
It's a rogue place to go in on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, ladybirds aren't making books about it. Put it that way. Do you know what I mean? It's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not like that kind of read.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, it's killed my dream of Thailand, basically. Yeah, it was a nice week.
Don't shut it down completely. You never know.
Follow your dreams, man.
Yeah.
You never know, but yeah, you just feel like a creep, wouldn't you? Even if it was innocent, no one's going to believe you. No one's going to believe you. I went to Thailand. It was all kosher, nothing like that. Just saw the beautiful country. Just
Seen the
rode up and
country,
down. Got me a
seen
moped.
some elephants. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I opened my mind. I saw a temple. I meditated. Yeah, and you got a hand job.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just missed that bit out. Do you know what I mean? It's true.
You got to be careful with your solo trips. Like,
Yeah.
I think even going to like, if you said like, I'm going to Cyprus on my own. Has a little bit to it though, doesn't it? Like, you think like, any motives there? Any like,
Yeah. I get, it's
don't
just that place has such a bad reputation. Like, it just is. If you say the word Thailand to anybody, any male, they're just thinking of that.
Yeah, I get you.
It's true, man. Yeah, funny place. Like you say, I think you have to go with a lady. I think it's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
Tell you what I did see. Interesting. I saw a fight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's always good. Love a fight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love seeing a fight.
But it was a proper
It's been a
full-on...
long time since I've seen a fight.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't see the fight. I saw the aftermath of the fight. Okay?
Still
I
a good
heard-
time.
Yeah. I heard a ruckus. I heard a noise. I seen people watching. You got to look, right? So you have a look. And what I saw,
Where was this at?
this was in Durham,
Right.
right? So there was, from what I could gather, from what I saw, a man and a man had a fight, right? And his missus had got involved, right?
Interesting.
So as I walked to the scene, what I saw was one man, like arms behind his back, squashed on the floor, trying to fight, trying to stroke a big guy as well, like a big bald guy, like a big dude, and like you can imagine, like when you say cop, you're like, oh, SAS, no mate, these are like 25-year-old boys, like trying to hold this
guy down.
this animal down, right? There was like 4 of them on his back, and he was nearly getting up. Do you know what I mean?
His missus had went to try and
So his
get the
missus
coppers
was
off him.
his missus was similar to him in that she was aggressive. So she was the same, right? But what had happened is, like, in the ruckus of it all, like a top had been like pulled off, so like a boob was out.
It's still a loose boob. Just...
Yeah, there's like a but she was squashed, but you could see her top was like down here, and her boob was just squished, and she wasn't putting up as much as a fight as him. He was nearly getting up, like she was kind of restrained by two people. But the noise she was making, and what she was doing is she was trying to bite everybody.
Yeah,
it was brilliant, mate. She was trying to bite everybody, like there was hell on. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh mate, what a carry on! Like, and what I saw is like, because she was trying to bite everybody, they in the end put like, it looked like they were going to suffocate her, but it must have been like a mesh thing.
Oh, they'll have like a bite restraint hood thing.
Yeah,
yeah, they do. They have a spit hood, don't they?
Right.
Because
at first when I'm watching, I'm thinking like, that's like you're going to suffocate her, like
plastic bag over her head.
Yeah, is this like, is this the mafia? Like, what's going on? Yeah, it was trippy.
Yeah,
it was trippy. Yeah, that happened, but it like just in the whole like ruckus of it all. Like,
is that what you saw?
That was what it was.
Yeah, that's the police spit hood.
So hang on. Just before we go any further, can they breathe through this?
Yeah, they can breathe through it, but it's one of them where these people have spat or are known for spitting, and
wow,
yeah, that's what they get put on them.
Right. Huh.
Interesting, innit?
Do you know it looks like Hannibal Lecter-y, doesn't it?
Yeah, my sister worked at Doncaster HMP, and there was quite a few people who were known for that. And when transporting them, they had to just put them in a spit hood because they know they just spit on officers or fellow prisoners.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like actually quite a common thing in prison. Like that's what people get a kick out of, I think. I mean, there was this one case, and this is the worst case I've ever heard of, but this one woman had been saving a bloody tampons.
Oh.
Yeah, and like ended up like just throwing them all over people. Oh man, it's just miserable. Just absolute, just...
Oh dear. That's
yeah.
Some existence, isn't it? Jesus Christ.
It looks like one of them things that a dog would wear, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, muzzle, yeah.
Muzzle,
You've been muzzled.
I'm still struggling to see how they breathe through it. It doesn't look like breathable to me. Looks like
That image there doesn't, but the other one looked like more like a mesh, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great when they're putting them, isn't it?
God.
Yeah, anyway, I don't know where I was going. Yeah.
So you've seen that?
Yeah, no, I seen it, but...
What happened? Did they just get taken away, put in the back of a car, and that was it?
That's basically how it ended, yeah. I don't know where I was going with that story. I feel like I had something else to go on.
You've seen a fight.
I hate it when women go for it as well. Like, I just think
I think among men, there's like a bit of respect, isn't it? You're kind of like, you'll punch or kick, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think women have
to use...
like... the hair pulling, like all that sort of shit goes
biting.
on. Yeah,
it goes a bit far, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it gets dangerous for them, especially if like you've got an angry man and then his missus is exactly the same. It's like, oh, this could go anywhere. This
good entertainment though, isn't it?
Oh, it's great entertainment.
Oh, brilliant entertainment. I know. Why do you think that? Like, isn't it mad? Like, something as like horrible as a fight. Like, what do we all want to watch it?
Oh yeah.
Why is that?
I'm trying to think. I feel like the last fights that I saw were probably like when I was a student, like in the like nightclubs and stuff like that in Newcastle. Yeah, like, that was always good fun.
Right. I think it's the names,
and it is. It's normally just two lads just having a scrap, and it's normally over quite quick because bouncers would just descend.
I always just like unis, like no, because obviously I never went to one. But when I think of a uni, I think of like intelligent people. So like when I see like if I think like uni boys having a fight, I feel like what were you doing? Like having a joust, like because you're like intelligent. You're like taking your glove off. How dare you, sir? Do you know, like,
no,
they're not all that intelligent.
No.
Like, I mean, I went to uni. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just give you an example. But
they're not all that bright.
No, they're not.
No,
but I think the reason we're drawn to fighting is the inner nature that we all have in us. Like there was one day that our ancestors, they were just fighting. That was how they sort of acclaimed dominance. There wasn't like hierarchies in work, or there wasn't anything that you sort of had to work hard to get. You just had to be hard. And I think that was the ultimate showcase of dominance back in the day. So I think when we see people fighting, that's like comes back to our genes and the way we are sort of wired that we'd like it.
I suppose like that could lead on to like if you think hundreds of years ago, capital punishment was done in a market square.
Yeah.
So like if someone was getting beheaded,
Yeah,
that
isn't that wild? Like, people
And, like-
would just gather around in crowds and watch somebody having their head lobbed off.
or a hanging.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a big deal.
Like, watch the light leave their eyes.
Yeah.
It's just hanging from the neck.
Literally,
what the fuck
like,
is
it
that?
would be a big event.
Yeah.
Like, on Saturday, this criminal or this crook is getting hung in the market square.
And the families around all cried and that, and everybody
Couldn't-
else is just watching with it, eating a cabbage or whatever. It's like, yeah, fucking, go on, do it.
Couldn't wait. Like, pushing to the front, put the best gear on. Oh, what are you doing? Saturday, I'm going to watch a hanging.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Get in.
Yeah, it's fucking
Been a
rad.
while, hasn't
Been
it?
a while, yeah.
Absolutely rad. Like the
That
whole
is mad.
like stoning, like
A
taking
public stoning.
yeah, taking somebody through and just like letting everyone throw rocks at them.
Brutal,
Like,
isn't it? Like,
it's mental.
Just meeting up with you before and just like, yeah, I'm on this fucking
Yeah.
rock. I can't wait to throw it at him.
Gonna
It's a good
plank
one.
this straight on his
Yeah.
I hope it
temple.
bounces back because I want a
Yeah.
second go with this bad lad.
yeah, I'm throwing this one out. I rubbed it on the dog's ass, this one. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Like, what the fuck is
makes
that?
it worse, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Worse than a rock, innit? What would you rather me
probably
throw at
do.
you? A rock or a rock that I've rubbed on the dog's ass?
I guess,
You know what I'm
fair
saying?
enough, yeah.
There you
And
go.
you've
Give
brought-
us the plain rock.
You've wrote temple on the side of it. It's,
But yeah,
it's good.
that it, like 100% happened. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that?
Yeah, exactly.
How was that in existence?
It's mental.
Like an accepted part of like just living in a community. Just-
That's how they kept order, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
yeah.
That was like
Yeah, I wouldn't shoplift. Like, I don't want
No,
that to happen.
yeah.
It was like,
yeah.
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 yeah,
No,
maybe
mate,
they need to bring that back so that people like bring the crime levels down.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate, bring them
You-
right down.
You're gonna
Yeah.
get a dog ass rock thrown at you. Like, yeah.
Oh, God.
Imagine
break
all
a
these like
speed
wannabe
limit, nothing.
gangsters, like wannabe drug dealers. Like, oh yeah, you're gonna be stoned or you're
Yeah.
gonna be hung if you get caught. No, nobody drug deal.
No,
You know what I mean?
No.
Like, in some countries, they still have this shit, right? I'm pretty sure in some countries they
Probably.
fuck people up if they do things wrong.
What, hangings or stoning?
Maybe not hangings, but like, and maybe not even stonings, but like, definitely like killing people.
Yeah.
Maybe not public no more.
Nah.
No.
Well, they still do the death sentence in America, isn't it? That's still happening.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's way more humane than like
Yeah.
what we're on about. Like, no one's getting their head chopped off with an axe anymore in America.
No. But I mean, like, in these like backward like countries,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think so.
pretty sure people are still getting killed for crimes. Like in North Korea, what do you think is going on? You get me?
I wonder if we ever find out.
I know, yeah. Like, we will one day. Like, one day we will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one day there'll be a Netflix documentary on it, won't it? When everything's sorted out.
Yeah. That's an interesting place,
I
North
know.
Korea.
Yeah, but when you say when everything's sorted out, like I wonder what has to happen for that to get sorted out. Like,
I always thought they were like some backward nation that had like nothing, and I thought like, what threat are they?
Yeah.
But like the more you dig into it, like apparently they're like, because of how their country's set up, like, you know, like in our country, something like 0.01% of our male population is military, basically. Very, very small percentage of our population. But when you look at their population, it's something like 50 or 60% of all males are military. And then like, they might be small with not a massive population, but because such a large proportion of them are military trained, they become quite a dangerous force.
Quite powerful.
Yeah.
Because, and they've also got them nuke things.
yeah,
Yeah.
that little thing.
That little thing, yeah. That elephant
And
in
you're
the
like,
room.
you got to think you're raising warriors that way. Like it's in the genes. If every, let's say 60%, as you said, or even 50% are all going into military, the genes that they pass on, they've trained hard, they've worked hard, they've been through military training, they're absolute warriors.
Yeah.
That's like genes that are passed on. Like
Yeah.
the genes that are passed on here, like, oh, I love Palmos.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
not a ship military that they've got either. Like that'll be like,
yeah.
they'll be proper drilled.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
weren't given like comfortable, like, you know, like a cabin to live in or whatever
Yeah.
army people live in, and days off, and, you know, there was an HR department. Like, there's no HR in North Korea, mate.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, Kim Jong, that's it.
Kim Jong is HR, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. KJ, is that right? Kim Jong?
KJ.
KJ. He is the human resources.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Well, listen, that's what I've got. There's other stories, but they're too long. How long have we been rolling?
About 10105.
That's where I'm having it.
That's
yeah,
lovely.
That's comfortable.
Yeah?
It's been easy. Yeah.
I'm happy with that. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming again.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it has. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.